Yeah, what's up, everyone? Yes, this is what I look like. Hope you enjoy my Dallas jersey. Captain Ben here. I'm not doing this myself. Of course, as you all know, I usually have a guest with me, so I'm gonna have a guest with this one, Stephen Knox. Just trying to call him now. It's so freaking stupid. Ugh. Hope your night's all going well. It's just a week till hockey. Um, no, I'm fucking pissed. There's no Star games on preseason. Shut up, Siri. A freaking Adam. This sucks. There, hope that works. No, but it's just like there's been like 5 Rangers games already on and no Stars games. Like, I mean, come on. I know that the Rangers are a more popular team, but I mean, the Stars were the second most scoring team last year. They're pretty exciting. I mean, why not show them? I don't know. See, I'm a little new to this, so if you don't mind. I don't know what the fuck's going on. Ugh. See, this worked before. It was easier when like just trying to do that. And now when I try to do this, it's freaking stupid. All right, well, I don't have much. I mean, we all know the Keen updates, man. It just for the longest time that thing just went nothing going on, and then about 2 weeks ago, they did the rape kit thing, and oh, that's no big deal. They found nothing, okay, but then they found out that it was tampered with. Okay, maybe Kane's a little guilty there. Apparently, like they're saying that the package was left out there for a day and a half, and the mother didn't realize that she didn't go through that door, I guess the front door. Um, but then they found out that she did tamper it, and and then eventually the victim's lawyer just dropped out of it. That's not looking good sign for her. I don't know what that's going to mean, but it's not looking good for her. No matter what, somebody's fucked, whether literally and figuratively. Um, oh, come on, man, you got to join my hangout. I don't fucking know, man. So I was listening to XM radio today. I usually listen to hockey thing, and they're saying, and one of the topics they were talking about was who are some of the biggest game-changing players in the NHL right now. Not saying particularly the best players, but the most game-changing. Now you might think, well, definitely Crosby or Ovechkin. They're even saying maybe McDavid or Eichel are going to be him, but I don't think that's what it's going to. Personally, I think Sagan is probably the biggest game changer. Now, you may sound biased because I'm a Stars fan, but no. When I watch him on the ice, he is scary. And I can see that the other team is scared of him. And I think it's becoming even more of a game changer later on when the 3-on-3 becomes more used next season. Just think about putting Seguin, Ben, and probably Klingberg on the ice in overtime. That's an unbeatable combination. That's going to change games. I mean, you could put other people out there and then maybe work in their system, but just something about Seguin, just like he doesn't score the most, but he scores a lot. He's accurate, and you know that he's going to get something done. So I don't know what the fuck he's doing. Let's try this again. There, sent. It's really much else to talk about. I mean,
Okay, there's that one.
hey, look who joined.
No, it's like it didn't. It's weird because it wasn't working on my phone, and now it's working on my phone. Sorry.
No, it's my fault. I wasn't typing in the 19. I forgot that. That's my fault too. For those who don't know, this is Stephen Ox, friend from Texas, fellow Stars fan. It's good to have you on the show. Like, you're the first one to be on for a video one. How does that make you feel?
That's great. Let's see if I can. There we go.
All right, so there's usually a lot to talk about, but right now there isn't. There's really only preseason. I was saying earlier, it's really pissing me off that there's been 5 Rangers preseason games shown on NHL Network, but now 1 Stars game. I mean, what kind of bullshit is that?
Yeah, it's always been one of those things in Dallas, especially. There's not really a lot of preseason in Dallas. It's not a lot of people who really get NHL Network down here either. So it's one of those things that it's just not a lot to go for. They're not going to be a lot of people watching it.
I would agree with you if this was the 2011 Dallas, but this is the 2015 Dallas. The second highest scoring team last year and the highest scoring team in the new year. For the past 2 seasons, it's just been exciting. Give me no wrong, like, yeah, I hate the Rangers, but I will give them credit. Something exciting, but 5 times, you gotta just stop. You gotta stop going to that watering hole because eventually it's gonna dry out. Same with them showing the Blackhawks. They're fucking brown nosing these original 16, and it's annoying to all of us.
Well,
The Bruins again, they probably got 5, and then the Penguins at least 3.
yeah, the Bruins would kind of irk me, but
The Bruins suck now. I mean,
they got Louis, and that's about it, right?
they got rid of Lucic. They got rid of Dougie Hamilton. Their first 3 first-round draft picks failed their physical.
Oh, they did?
Yeah, they did.
Ouch.
All 3 of them.
And they traded so much for those 3 picks.
They traded a really good backup goalie for one of them.
Yeah, but I don't know what Bruins are doing. They traded Dougie. They traded too much for picks that didn't make it.
Okay, so now that you're here, I can have a better in-depth conversation about preseason. Besides the viewing on TV, we still all know what's going on. As you know, our Stars, they're 1-4, I think.
1-4, yeah.
One game, 6-3 the Lightning. Got swept by the Blues. Lost twice, swept by the Panthers. But do not fret. It's preseason. Some people would think, oh, it means a lot, but it actually doesn't. I mean, we've seen
it means a lot for young players, not too much for how the teams are going to become.
Exactly. It is. I don't think it has any effect on how the season's going to be. It's just seeing, are some of the young players in the prospect pool ready to make the next step, or for professional tries to see if they still have an NHL career.
Yeah, I think my
I remember the Edmonton Oilers going 5-1 a few years ago, and they were dead last in the West. So
yeah, yeah, and last year the Stars, I think we lost one preseason game last year, and yeah, that didn't go as well.
This is going to be an exciting year.
Yeah, yeah. For what we've seen through preseason, I mean, really, it's for Stars.
Hey, we just got Jamie Benn back last night.
And yeah, and he played well. He wasn't terrible at all.
Coming right off, not really having any action since that hip injury. I don't mind.
Yeah, and Hemsky didn't really do anything, but Spezza's definitely playing well, and the Janmark, the minor, he's definitely the minor league guy, definitely showing that he can play at an NHL level too, especially with Spezza.
I'm trying not to keep my optimism too up high because it was almost through the roof when we got Spezza last year. I thought that one would continue us in the playoffs, maybe get past that first round, but
yeah,
it's just our goaltending sucked last year.
It's goaltending and defense. I mean, we have great defense on paper.
We got good defense in the second half of the year when Klingberg came up.
Yeah, our back two defensemen though have always been AHL defensemen, so they never pick up their end. I'm trying to look at what we had last year.
Now, a lot of people would say that the biggest blame would be Kari Lehtonen, which I can understand he didn't have a stellar performance, but you can't fully blame the guy. I mean, we had no solid backup. If he wasn't feeling well, or if he was on in a bad place emotionally, or just tired, he had to go back because there was no other way to fix it. It was either definitely lose or maybe lose. You can't really blame him. But now in this offseason, we got another starter, another Finn in Antoniemi, who I think needed a change of scenery, so that'll be good for him. And I think we upgraded in defense more than anything. There's a lot of you know I'm a Devils fan too, so Johnny Oduya about 5 years ago was on the Devils, so I've heard of him. Personally, for me, I like defensemen who stay back. Don't go for them. Yeah, I like seeing their powerful slap shots, but I like ones like Ken Daneyko. Has less than 50 goals in his career, but he fought his ass off in the defensive end, blocking shots, heavy hits. That's what I look for in a defenseman. I'm more worried about the forwards getting the goals. I want a defenseman really back and just keeping shots away from the goaltender. And I think Johnny Oduya is very, very good at that. I think he's a little bit underrated in that because people look at the stat of goals and assists, which isn't really his forte.
Yeah, I didn't watch too much of Oduya. I know what kind of player he is. I didn't watch too much of Chicago. But having the veteran talent, and I know Oduya was like a second line defenseman for Chicago. So even having a second line talent and moving Klingberg up to the first spot, I mean, it's exactly what he is and what he can play. So I trust him in the spot.
It's almost like having a Yager for defenseman. Just that experience and that dedication to the game will rub off on our young defensemen and just make them better. And then getting the defensive prospect Stephen Johns, who the whole deal for Patrick Sharp was around.
Yeah, and I don't know how much people want to say that trade was focused on Stephen Johns. Now, the Stephen Johns definitely tipped over for Nil to pick up Johns, but Chicago gave up a lot. I mean, they gave up Sharp. He was 4th or 5th in points for Chicago. Let me look. And then they gave up and they took Daly. Daly was 2nd on our minus chart. So he was minus 13 last season, and he played every game, almost every game.
He had a lot of goals, but he wasn't very defensive.
Yeah, and that was the issue. I mean, and he played with defensive players. He played with Alexiak. He played with Demers. He played with, and they're all very defensive minded. And being a defenseman like Klingberg, I should say, Klingberg plays defensively, but he's got a front offensive push. And then when he's in offense, he's always back on the rush. He's a fast, quick, and if you're going to be offensive, you have to be fast.
Yeah, you can't be slow. This isn't the 90s anymore.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, 90s was all, well, yeah, I would say it was deep. It was a lot very defensive decade. Just naming off that was the year of defense. Me and Scott Stevens, Nicholas Lindstrom. Who else was big back then?
Hatcher.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you just had these big, broad defensemen, and you didn't have to be fast. You just had to push people over.
Which going on to the Devils for the second, I'm finally glad they're starting to get away from defensive first. That worked all the way up to 2003, but I think Lou just wouldn't let go of that philosophy, and I think that's what killed us for a long time with prospects and playoff chances.
Mm-hmm. See, and the Devils always had goaltending, which is a good thing. I mean, even now, even if they were to keep Brodeur into his 40s, they have good goalie on look. Like they can sense if a goalie's going to stay in the game or.
Well, that was a great deal for Schneider. I mean, he's so under the radar and he's so talented. He's just not fully known as others because he was a backup in Vancouver and now he's in New Jersey, which even with all success is just not recognized.
Yeah, he's definitely one to look at, especially in the coming years. If the Devils can put up a.
Don't look at his wins. Look at his save percentage and goals against average, and they're in the top 10 in goalies. You don't blame him for the losses because he's not getting much in front of whether goals are defending.
Yeah,
so
you
can do.
You have a team full of young guys. I mean, that's just going to happen, even with the stars.
I'm so glad we got rid of all the old people. That was the biggest thing we needed.
I mean, you still got old people on there, but
Elias, that's it. You can't get rid of him.
Yeah, you got Elias. I mean, Camilleri's getting up there, but I mean, Camilleri's the same as Sharp. I mean,
Zidlicki was 38. Zubris was 38. Yager was 43. Elias is 39. Salvador is 40. Just all those people over 35, except for Elias, are gone.
Yeah. And Elias doesn't have too much longer.
Yeah, he's going down. I don't think he's going to be captain.
No, that's one thing I was actually looking at too. Who would be your guys' captain?
He was given captain before in 2006 and in 2007 training camp. I forget the coach's name at the time, but the coach stripped him of his C, and then it was given to Langenbrunner. And so he doesn't want to have something like that happen again.
Yeah.
Oh, Andy Green's my favorite player. He's now the longest tenured, and he's just so humble and just stays out of the spotlight. I think he deserves it.
Yeah, I definitely think the C is going to go to either Green or Zajac. I mean,
No, not Zajac. Ever since that contract extension, he's gone down in production so much.
has he?
I don't even think he reached 10 goals last year. Maybe 10 or 11, but it's not what we're paying 8 years for.
Yeah, it's definitely scary when you have players like that. Like for instance, I'm going to use a star again. When you give it to Klingberg, when you sign 7 years to Klingberg, and you only watched him play his rookie year, and then you give him a 7-year contract. It's scary to have that 7-year contract and then the players start to decline. It's not something you want to see happen.
Rarely do players give their potential all the way up through those 7 years. I would have given him at most 4 years, just because how young he is. We only learned from only half a season of him.
Yeah.
All right, since I have you here, I'll get someone else's opinion. As you know, there's a few rule changes for this year. Biggest being 3-on-3 overtime. What do you think of this? I think it's going to be great. I think it's going to limit the amount of shootouts.
It's going to be lovely, especially if that had started back in the day. It would have been. A lot of people would be whining and complaining about it, especially with how Gretzky's team when he had Yari Curry and Messier. I mean, it's going to be the same concept. You're just going to put 3 fast guys out there, and if the team can't compete with speed, you've got the 3-on-3 overtime. It's going to go one of two ways. It's either going to be the fastest player will win in the 3-on-3, or everybody's going to be just pushing out 3 players that can score and move. It's definitely iffy on the young teams because the young teams aren't going to be able to keep up. But, I mean, I think it's a good idea. 3-on-3 definitely shows a little bit more skill, and it's going to put a lot less onto the overtimes where you're not going to get a lot of skill.
Exactly. It's just, you're right, it's going to be breakaway. If they miss, it's going to be a breakaway for the other team, back and forth until someone scores. Now, one of my friends was saying, "Oh no, there's just because it's 3-on-3, there's going to be more shit." That's just so freaking stupid. There's less people on the ice. You're going to put two forwards and 1 defenseman, or maybe 3.
Yeah,
and we already seen the preseason over, I think 80% of the games that had to go into overtime ended in overtime.
Ended in like minutes. I mean, they didn't even get a full 5. It ended up in like 1 or 2 minutes. I mean, I think every single overtime that we've played, as the Stars have played, and I think Calgary even, they've never had over 2 minutes of overtime. I mean, Stars scored 1 with 53 seconds, and then the other night we scored 1 in 1:20, and it's just speed. There's a lot of room, and a lot of people who don't know, who haven't played, who haven't been on that ice, you don't know how much room you have out there until you're 3-on-3.
The team with the best speed and chemistry is going to be the most victorious in overtime. So that's going to be Anaheim, that's going to be Dallas, it's going to be Chicago.
Washington.
If you got chemistry, you can set up pretty good for a breakaway and like fake the goalie if you know exactly. So teams that kind of rebuilding like New Jersey, I don't know how they're going to be. They're a lot faster, that's for sure. I think Josephson's going to get a lot of.
It's going to be rough for those teams.
Thank God, I can't deal as a Jersey fan. I can't take shootouts anymore. We won a few last year, but we went 18 shootouts without winning.
Yeah.
And just, I like seeing a team win with team effort, not sending out one player trying to out-deke the other team's goalie. That's not a win in my eyes.
It really depends. Like say it were the top three. After the top three players, it kind of gets redundant. It just gets who can be the fanciest after that point. Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean,
When it first came out, it was neat, but it's gotten old.
Yeah, you're gonna have teams like you're gonna have Jamie Benn. Most likely, the Stars lineup for a 3-on-3 will be Jamie Benn, Tyler Seguin, and Klingberg. If it's not Klingberg, I mean you've got Spezza, Sharp. You're gonna have a whole lot of room. With teams like Washington, you're gonna have Ovechkin. You're gonna have Oshie. Teams Pittsburgh's gonna have Malkin, Crosby, Letang, Castle.
He's on my fantasy team. He's going to do good for me.
Chicago, you're going to have, of course, Patrick. You're going to have Taves. You're going to have Hjalmarsson. I mean, Hjalmarsson's a more of a straight shooter forward. You might even have Daly on that list.
Maybe.
I mean, everybody's got their fast people, and that's what you're going to be looking for. It's going to be much more fast-paced hockey after in overtime, and that scares a lot of people, especially teams like New Jersey and Buffalo. You don't have a lot of fast players, and that's going to ruin a lot of teams.
Buffalo, I think they might have a chance with Eichel and Kane.
Yeah, but you're going to. Good.
Who do you think is going to suffer the most from 3-on-3 overtime? Like, who's going to dread seeing that?
If not New Jersey, you're going to be looking at teams. You're going to be looking at teams like Vancouver. The Sedins are good. The Sedin Twins are great, but they're missing speed. They can set each other up. They can play. They got that twin telepathy going on, but they don't have the speed.
New Jersey, it's a wild card. Their goaltending could be good enough in overtime, but they just got to keep in mind not to let breakaway happen because they won the only overtime that they were in. No, they scored twice in overtime. One against the Islanders and the Rangers. So I think they could be okay. I think the Leafs are going to have a problem in overtime.
Yeah, that was something scary for Dallas too. I think we lost more games in overtime than we let go to the shootout. So
this is going to be a completely different brand of shootout, though.
Well, yeah, but 3-on-3 overtime is completely different from 4-on-4. You're not looking for a defensive core anymore. You're looking for speed,
which we've got in a lot of people.
Yeah, it's not going to be.
We've got accurate passers too. We've got a lot of chemistry, and we've got an intimidation factor that a lot don't have. So, I think we're going to be okay.
Yeah, I definitely think Stars are going to be okay in that point.
Is there anything else you want to talk about?
Man, the up and coming rookies would be a good one.
Yeah, I mean, it's been 10 years, give or take a few, that we've had this much excitement about seeing two players have their career starts, and I'm talking about McDavid and Eichel. There's just so much said about these kids, and yet they're already starting to make an impact, and it's only preseason.
Yeah, and I mean, Eichel's good. Eichel's definitely a team player. The only thing that makes Eichel different from McDavid, he can score. He's got soft hands. He's got patience. If you give the kid too much room, he's guaranteed a goal. but Eichel's more of a playmaker. Eichel can definitely, he has the quarterback vision. He's got uh, his passes are on point. Eichel's definitely a lot faster than McDavid. I'm not gonna say McDavid's not fast because McDavid's fast, but McDavid just, if you give McDavid time, he will score. If you give Eichel time, I mean,
Yeah.
he might not.
These two are being called generational players, and these haven't happened since Ovechkin and Crosby. I see McDavid being a lot like Ovechkin, just like the very good hands, very accurate shooting is going to get a lot of points. And I see Eichel's like Crosby is a very good playmaker. I think he's going to get more assists than he's not going to get as many goals, but I think he's going to get a lot more assists, just be a lot more of a playmaker.
Yeah. If you want to put it that way, yeah, that's definitely a good one. I think McDavid's definitely going to have assists. I mean, he's going to be a lot better, a lot better in the assist category than Ovechkin was. But yes, he's going to be the goal scorer. Eichel's going to be the playmaker. Eichel's going to make his team look good. Connor McDavid's going to make him look good.
And they're in two completely different places. I mean, you've got the Pacific Division for McDavid, and you've got the Metropolitan Division for Eichel. I think maybe Eichel's gonna have a little bit more success. I mean, Edmonton's doesn't have really any defense, and their goaltending is just uncertain. I mean, we all saw Talbot last year backing up for Lundqvist. He did a phenomenal job, but can he take a full starting role? And if he fails at that, he might not have a future in the league. If you can't start for Edmonton, where can you start?
And he's going to start in Edmonton. He's going to give up a lot of goals. I'll give you that.
Which makes me feel so bad for Ben Scrivens. I mean, he was so good on the Kings, and then just all of it's surprising how good Edmonton was 10 years ago, and now it just seems like a place for careers to die.
Yeah, definitely.
It's the New York Jets of NHL.
They definitely did stack their team on the offseason though. I'm looking how Connor McDavid's been doing in the preseason. Haven't really looked at that.
I don't know either.
It looks like he's gotten a couple points so far, so it's not an upset on preseason for him.
All right, so who do you think's got the ugliest NHL jersey this year?
Ugliest NHL jersey. Ooh. Let's see. Man, I don't know. I kind of like them all. They've never really irked me as much as some people state they don't like jerseys.
Mine used to go to Arizona, but theirs, I understand. What's always been the second worst for me, and now the worst, is Nashville.
Man, that bright yellow is always great.
They call it gold, but it's yellow. That is not gold. It's freaking yellow, and it doesn't go with the logo, and it looks horrible on the ice. Now, if they did primarily blue, that would make the logo pop. And if they did yellow trim, that'd be one of the best in the league. They're sticking with that stupid mustard yellow, and now they have mustard yellow helmets, and it looks just god-awful.
Okay. After you said that, yeah, the mustard yellow helmet's definitely horrid. They should, I mean, I think most of the time, unless you're like the Rangers, black and white helmets are fine.
I mean, their blue helmet was fine. It helped suppress the awfulness of that. But nothing's nearly as bad as the Buffalo Sabres alternate jersey, which is also yellow on the front.
I've not. Oh, that one, yeah.
I mean, come on,
I've never been a fan of the
disabled person just designed that, and they were too scared to tell them that it looked awful.
I've never liked the designs for them. Yeah,
their black and red one was really nice. That's probably my favorite one.
Yeah, I mean, I always like the original Buffalo, the black and red and silver. I believe it
Speaking of
was.
original, I hate how the original Dallas Stars jersey is almost non-existent on eBay, on Amazon. I mean, you can find the 1999 to 2007 one. You could find the previous one, but you can't find the 1993 to 1999 jerseys.
Yeah,
I mean, you could find large quantities of Muteris, and that's an ugly jersey. The first ones were great. They were this nice dark green and black. The away ones at the time, which is the fold down, had stripes going here and stops and the number and stars in gold and green. And then the away was the striping down the sides. It was a beautiful jersey. I don't know why they haven't come like a throwback with it.
yeah. And I think I was trying to think if I had a old one with me, but I don't. I have Sid's Stanley Cup one, but I think that's about it. I know I have a Hatcher one somewhere. That's the original white. But other than that, yeah, I mean they're hard to find. They're hard to come by. I bet you can find like a Mike Madonna one or a Jason Arnott. No, not Jason Arnott.
I have a
The
I have
green
a
one.
Jason Arnott star one.
Yeah.
He's the reason I'm a Stars fan. If you didn't know that.
Yeah. Yeah. I think I've heard that a couple times, and I've seen your Jason Arnott one. It definitely one of the players that definitely showed up when he got here, but there wasn't much to do with the team at the time.
If they would in '99 in Game 5 or 7 with the white jerseys, it would be a lot easier to find.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, and it's definitely one of those jerseys that there wasn't a lot of success behind, so you won't be able to find it. You'll find Mike Madonna ones most likely, but that's about it.
Didn't we win the President's Trophy with it, our first one?
No, I believe they won the President's Trophy in 90. Is the 97, 98.
Yeah, so that's when they wore those jerseys in. Like, come on, it's the humble beginnings. It's your humble beginnings. You moved from Minnesota. It's the first thing you have. Sorry, I was getting a text.
Oh, you're good. I'm on my phone right now, so. Yeah, and looking through them, I don't like the Carolina. I mean the Hurricanes one. Too much red.
Their old ones are okay, yeah, but like that fire engine red.
Yeah. Yeah, red helmets, red socks, red pants, red gloves. You got 2 stripes on either arm. You got 2 stripes at the bottom of the jersey, and you got 2 stripes on your socks, and that's about it. It's all red.
Well, that's really all I have tonight. As you can see, I'm in school and I got some work to do. Really, thank you for joining me, and I'll love to have you on again.
No problem. Thank you, man.
For all of us here, this is Puck Ponders, and I'll see you in the locker room.